Hello, individuals and potential students. My name is Zach Bergling with Purdue University, West Lafayette Online Special Education Program. Today, we're going to go over essentially a virtual information session for your betterment and introduce you to our faculty and staff here to help you in really deciding and whether or not determining if Purdue would be the best fit for you. Today's agenda, obviously we're going to meet the presenters, why choose Purdue University, have a brief overview of the online special education program, learning outcomes, concentration outcomes, curriculum details, new licensure only pathways, curriculum details, licensing information, and fieldwork. Obviously at the end, we're going to tie it up with some FAQs and some admission requirements and next steps in regards to the application. Today, I'm pleased to present Dr. Kharon Grimmet, PhD, Online Special Education Program Facilitator and Coordinator here at Purdue West Lafayette. Angie Hotzcall is our Clinical Practice Coordinator and Special Education Faculty, and Adrienne Kohler for our Blended and Online Teaching Coordinator, Learning Design and Technology Faculty. I, again, am Zach Bergling, Senior Enrollment Coordinator, Purdue University, West Lafayette. So why choose Purdue University? Obviously, I think our doctor on staff, Dr. Kharon Grimmet, would be the best individual to go over some of the nice accolades of the university and the special education program.
Thanks so much, Zach. You know, Purdue University, we are very, very well known across the nation and as well as internationally, but we have worked really, really hard. Our online program has been running for less than 10 years, and we have consistently moved up the rank as the best online master's in education programs by US News and World Report. And we continue to increase our scores and look forward to maintaining our 5th place position as one of the most innovative universities in America. We have worked really, really hard to just bring education to anyone and everyone who wants it, and developing our next future leaders in education and in other endeavors. So what makes our program unique? Well, we are number 11, best master's online program. We're really in special education. So out of the whole entire country, we're number 11, and that's pretty good for being as young as we are. We can help you become a licensed teacher with little or no teaching experience. We have had moms and husbands and dads like come after they've spent years in the business profession or in other professions and just say, hey, it is time I pursue my original passion. And that was always teaching, but I just couldn't do it at that time. And so now I want to do it. And now there's no better time but the present to become a teacher. So we can license you with little to no experience. Maybe you're already a teacher in elementary education or a secondary field, and you want to add that special education license because you believe that every child in your classroom deserves the best teacher, regardless of where they come from, what they look like, how they learn, and you're going to be the teacher that makes that impact on them. We can help you add that special education license as well. We have, to do that, we have 6 focused degree concentrations available, and you will not find that anywhere else across this country because licensure is very, very difficult for universities to navigate within states, much less across multiple states, which we can do. And it takes a lot of work, and we have a great team who help support my team, but also our students as we really seek to make sure that every student who comes to us can be licensed back in their home state. But we have intentionally developed 6 different concentrations to meet your need. And probably one of the things, I mean, I'm really, really proud of our students and my online program team, that we are the 11th best online program in the country. But I think I'm just as proud, if not more proud, to be nationally recognized by Council for Exceptional Children. Our program, that's a very, very high award and classification, and also to be accredited by CAPE at our initial and advanced licensure levels. Those are three amazing honors that we have at Purdue, and it takes a lot of work to be nationally recognized and accredited. And I think it just speaks to the amazing faculty that we have, the amazing course instructors that we have, the amazing opportunities that we provide, and we are being recognized for making a difference and being innovative around our country. So just some quick facts, just kind of at a glance, if you will. We're going to go over the different concentrations that we have available for you. But just so that you know, our programs can range from 27 credit hours up to 44, depending on if you want one or multiple licenses. And then our cost per credit hour, you will see our in-state is one of the lowest in the state of Indiana, $450. We want, teaching is not a profession where we're going to see 6 figures or 7 figures ever. But we want to make it reasonable. We want to make it doable for you to become the teacher that you desire to be. For out of state, again, $700 per credit hour out of state is one of the lowest you're going to find. We are very competitive, especially coming to a Big Ten university. These costs are amazing, and you won't find them anywhere else. So what do we do? What do we do in our program? What are some of the outcomes that you can expect, things that you can expect to learn? Well, we're going to start you out by understanding various characteristics and categories of disability. And even though understanding categories is important because that's, defined by the law, we're going to help you take a step back and really truly begin to conceptualize the context that our students come from. They come from many different contexts. And so how does all of that, how does the family dynamic, the community dynamic, the disability dynamic, the family situation, how all of that impacts your learner is really important. More important than probably any lesson, because you really can't develop lessons unless you know your learner. So we're going to really teach you how to just identify your learner, to be there, to be present with them, and to develop lessons and use strategies that will help them be their best. You're going to talk about assessment. We're going to collect data. We're going to interpret data. We're going to make instructional decisions based on data. Again, going back to your learner, we're going to help you focus on your learner. Your students will always tell you, maybe not verbally, but all of these components together will help you move forward, help them move forward in their academic pursuits. We're going to talk about instructional methods. We're going to talk about age-appropriate curriculum. One of the things that a lot of people just make assumptions that, oh, well, this student has a disability or they have a special need, and so they can't, have access to general education curriculum. We have to just redo this. Oh, and that's not true. We are required by law to provide access to general education curriculum. So how do we provide that, given, again, the disability, the context that learner is in? How do we adapt to meet their needs? We're also going to talk a lot about evidence-based practices, focused on math, focused on reading. We are going to make sure that you are content experts in addition to experts with modifying and adapting curriculum. We're super excited to have partnered with the Learning Design and Technology program at Purdue University to truly get into how do we provide services and instruction to students in an online or blended setting. And that has become more important than ever now that hopefully we're rounding out our COVID pandemic, but it's online education, online blended learning. It is not going anywhere. Technologies are really, really important, whether they're to increase mobility or communication, a student's self-determination, but they're really going to be important to learning. And so we are going to really develop teachers who can truly meet the needs of their learners, regardless of if they're in a hospital setting, if they're in a homebound setting, if they are, if there's inclement weather, hurricanes in Florida or snowstorms in Indiana. We unfortunately see it all, and we have to be prepared because our students, we are, again, required by law to provide services. Those services can't be interrupted. So how do we do that? And we're gonna really learn how to use technology to help us with that. Behavior. Behavior is another thing that you hear a lot of teachers talk about. We're going to talk about challenging behavior and how can we develop positive learning environments, and how can we teach appropriate functional behavior and social skills so that our students are able to connect with their world and their community. And then finally, ethics are so important in any profession, and they are ultimately important. Whether we agree or disagree, teachers are held to a higher standard above a lot of other professions. And so how we ethically apply ourselves, ethically help students meet standards, and practice in our profession is of the utmost importance. And so we're going to make sure that you also are an ethical, amazing educator. As promised, what are these 6 concentration areas? You may just be interested in a master's only. You're not interested in a teaching license. You want to have a master's in special education. Maybe you're practicing outside of the education profession. And so a master's for you is really important to learn more about individuals with disabilities and about a curriculum. And so you're just interested in master's only, and we have that for you. You can come for 31 credit hours. We have a master's only program. It does not lead to any licensure. So it's just a master's, but it is focused in special education. We do have 2 initial. So initial licensure, what that means is that you are currently not a teacher. You've never taught, you have not held a state teaching license. Maybe you've substituted, but that is not a typical teaching license. So you have never student taught before. So we're going to take you through the whole entire teacher preparation program, and we're going to give your initial or your first teaching license. And we have 2 options here. You can concentrate on students with mild intervention needs only, and that is a 36 credit hour program. Or for those of you who are just like, nope, all cards on the table, I want to meet every learner who walks through my doors. I want to be able to meet their needs. And so I'm not only going to focus on mild intervention, but I'm going to focus on intense intervention. I want both of those licensure. Hit me. We can do that too. That is our initial mild and intense licensure concentration or track, if you will. It's 48 credit hours, but again, we are a fast track program. We run all year round, so you have the opportunity to take 18 credit hours in an academic year, fall, spring, and summer. So we can get you in and we can get you out. And typically, even for both of those licensure areas, 48 credit hours, typically that's going to be less than 3 years. So it's a really amazing program if you're interested in doing both of those licensure areas. So maybe for the rest of you, you are a teacher. Again, as kind of mentioned before, maybe you're an elementary teacher You want to add special education to your license. Maybe you're a secondary science teacher or secondary math teacher or social studies, whoever you are, you already have your initial teaching license in a different concentration area. We can add special education to your license, and we can do, you still have the same type of options. We can add mild only, or we can add mild and intense. But maybe you're in yet another category of maybe you're already a special education teacher and you already have your mild license. We can add intense only. So again, all 6 of these, there is something for everyone right here across any of these 6 programs. I think, you know, as a team, this truly represents any and every possibility for licensure and non-licensure that you can possibly think of at the same time for those who truly want to grow in the area of special education. And how do we do that? How do we put those 6 concentrations? How do we get students quickly through a teacher preparation program so they can be in the classroom, whether they're on an emergency or provisional license or a special license, or not? How do we do this? Well, we've got 10 core courses, and those courses are phenomenal. We start you out with social, legal, ethical issues. We want to take you through, we need you to know what you're getting into from the beginning. Like, we're not here to, you know, waste your time or take your money. We are here to make sure, first and foremost, you know what you're getting into, because special education, the teaching profession in general, is not a glorified, you know, fairy dust type of profession. It's hard, it's difficult, it's physically taxing, it's emotionally taxing, but it's so worth it. And so we want to start off your program with this legally, federal law, state law, this is what you are agreeing to be and do and love. And so we want to kick that your program off with social, legal, ethical issues. Then we want to introduce you to students, you know, the development of learners. If you understand child development, typical child development, then it helps us understand atypical, when something is not typical. And that really opens our eyes to truly understanding our students. And so we want you to really grasp how important students are and make sure that they are your first and foremost focus as you go through this program. Then we're going to get into the fun stuff of applied behavior analysis in the school setting. You know what, ABA, maybe you have some experience coming from a clinical setting. Maybe you have been a registered behavior therapist. Maybe you're coming to our program from that professional realm. And you know what, ABA is just good teaching. That's all it is. And we believe at Purdue that those strategies can be used within the context of the classroom, within the context of the home, that they shouldn't be done in isolation, but that the most important thing is that our students are able to generalize and to transfer those skills that are taught across trainers and across settings. And so we want you to see applied behavior analysis within the school setting and focused on our learners. We're going to go into reading. We're super excited to have partnered with Orton Gillingham, which I know I will follow up with in a few more slides, but we're really excited to be able to offer a course that focuses on students with significant reading difficulties. That is something that is so important. We have got 2. We have with the significant reading difficulties course, and then we also have literacy curricula for learners with exceptionalities. We have a whole math curricula course. So again, you are going to be content experts. We're going to talk about transition services and education, and this is across a lifespan. You know, legally transition, as I defined by IDEA, starts at the age of 14 or 16, but here at Purdue, transition, you were born. Welcome to your first transition. There is so much that happens when you have a child with a disability. There's so much that happens from birth all the way through adulthood and beyond. And so we want to cover that, because as teachers, we may only provide services to K-12, but we need to understand what happens and the services that could be provided before they come to us, and the services that they need as they move forward, because we're going to be the ones supporting families as those transition happen. So we're really going to hit that. And so we're really excited about our core courses. We have truly beefed them up to meet the needs of our learners and our students as well. And then you're going to meet Angie here in a little bit. She's going to talk to you about the licensure part of this. We do have practicums that are required for all students. And then our student teaching experience, which is required for those of you who need the initial licensure area. So again, just really excited about the curriculum that we can offer in an online platform and setting, and as we develop amazing special educators.
As you are looking at Purdue and our options, you have heard about our options that include a master's degree, but we also have all of these licensure options that are strictly licensure only. So you are able to get an initial mild license or an initial mild and intense license. You can get your additional mild license if you already have a teaching degree. You can add intense to a special education license that you already have. Or if you, like Dr. Grimmet shared, have a teaching license, not in the area of special education, you can add both mild and intense license without the option for the master's in special education. So that is something new that we have just begun to roll out, and focusing as a focus for those of you who are looking for just some additional licensure. For this type of program, you're looking at 29 to 45 credit hours. We have the 5 concentration areas, or the 5 track areas, and the cost per credit remains the same at $450 for in-state and $700 for out-of-state students. If you are coming to Purdue for our online our online program and are seeking licensure, your license will be in the state of Indiana. So as you attend the program, as you complete all of our coursework and the licensure requirements for practicum and student teaching, those are all based on the requirements for the state of Indiana. Indiana does have a compact agreement with most states, I believe with 49 of the other states. That means if you have your Indiana teaching license, you can use that compact agreement to obtain your license in another state. Now, it doesn't always mean that it is a strict Indiana license for a California license. For example, there may be some specific state level coursework or testing or grade point averages that may be required for your individual state. If you are looking at out-of-state licensure and you live out of the state of Indiana and you're looking to add this to your out-of-state licensure, you will want to visit the website for the National Association of State Directors of Teacher Education and Certification, the NASTEC website, and it will give you some information about what those individual states may require or how that compact agreement works. And you can also go to the U.S. Department of Education's website to find some specific licensure requirements for your home state. For Indiana specific questions, or if you have questions about how this compact agreement and reciprocity works with other states, you can also contact the Purdue Office of Teacher Education and Licensure, or OTEL, at licensure@purdue.edu. So you may be wondering, okay, what do these practicum and student teaching experiences look like and what is required? If you are on an initial track, you will be required to complete both practicum and student teaching. The practicum experiences are supervised by a university supervisor who is assigned to you by our program, and you will complete the experience in 2 different special education settings. One of those would be elementary, grades K through 6, and one would be secondary, grades 5 through 12. If you are seeking the mild only license, you're going to be doing those experiences in a mild setting. If you are seeking the intense and mild licenses, you will need to complete these in both the mild and intense settings. So that means you will have an experience at elementary and secondary for mild. And then in a different semester, you will have an experience for elementary and secondary and intense interventions. Throughout your experience, you will assess students, you will design lesson plans based on what you know that your students need. You will deliver those lessons. You will be asked to manage student behavior and needs and look at functional behavior assessments, behavior intervention plans. You will develop an IEP or multiples, depending on which track you're on. And then you will integrate the use of technology and to enhance the learning outcomes and communication for your students. Finally, you'll also be working on collaboration with family and colleagues. As we all can imagine, this is a huge part of the teacher's life. If you are on the additional track, those practicum experiences are all that you are required. If you are on the initial track, you will be doing the practicum experience and the student teaching experience. The student teaching experience is a 16-week supervised experience in special education. You can be employed as a special educator in your classroom, and you can complete all 16 weeks of that in your classroom. If you aren't employed as a special education teacher, you would complete 2 8-week experiences, one in the elementary and one in the secondary level. And that can be dependent and designed for your specific interest if you want that to be in the mild and or intense, depending on your licensure track. And finally, we do spend some one-on-one time in EDPS 5002. One of our courses, it's a 1-credit course where you and I would work together to design and outline your clinical practice placements based on your individual situations.
Thanks, Ange. So we have some additional licensure and certificate options. And again, we are super excited to have partnered with Purdue University's Learning Design and Technology. And all of our mild intervention and intense intervention, if you are seeking licensure in mild only or mild and intense, you will also be eligible for the blended and online teaching licensure that Indiana offers you. This is going to make a huge impact, as regardless of whether you're in Indiana or in another state around the country, you're going to start seeing these types of licenses pop up. And it's really, really important. So we have intentionally designed our courses to embed blended and online teaching standards. In those courses, we have some technology requirements that you're going to be able to complete throughout the program. And it's just going to make you a better teacher. Again, whether it's inclement weather or whether it's a hospital situation where your student needs to be in the hospital for a long period of time, or maybe at home because of COVID, we have the tools and the technology, and we know how to use it to truly meet the needs of our learners, and not their education won't have to be impacted that way. So we're really excited about this. If you are interested, again, if you are seeking the mild only or the mild and intense licensure areas, this will automatically be a part of your program. So also, we were able to partner with Orton Gillingham. One of the courses you're going to receive an Orton Gillingham certificate after completing EDPS 524, which is effective instruction for students with significant reading difficulties. And that certificate could mean a lot for you in the state that you live in. So here in Indiana, there's an opportunity to to be, I know with dyslexia legislation, kind of really moving around our country right now and around the world as well. That type of certificate can be really helpful to add a credential to your license. It could help possibly support your district. I know here in the state of Indiana, every district, I do believe, is required to have one teacher trained, and we're just beginning. So I'm sure that will continue to grow and expand, but honestly, it just makes you a better teacher. We know that Orton Gillingham is not the only strategy or the only option, but it is an option that's known around the world and is recognized around the world. And so this gives us the opportunity to truly, I know Michigan, for example, they have a reading certificate, and this could help add that to our teachers from Michigan to their licensure. So it just puts you in a really great sense. So not only are you coming here for special education licensure, but you're getting the blended and online teaching license, you're getting an Orton Gillingham certificate of completion. There's so much more. We are as deep, actually we're deeper than we are wide. So we're really, really intentional with how we've developed this program and these additional added benefits of our program. And we're just really excited to be able to offer something like this. So what can you expect? This is a question that I get all the time from prospective students. And, you know, when you guys make your decision to come to Purdue, you commit to us, but we commit to you. And so we kind of want you to know what you're getting into before you make that decision. Every week, you're going to have a module. We are not a program that you start and you just kind of do as you please. We are a very structured program. We get our teachers, we develop teachers, and we get them in the program and we get them out of the program as quickly as we possibly can. And as you can tell by our curriculum, as you can tell by these additional licensure areas, it's a lot. It's a lot of work because we're not interested in just putting anybody in classrooms. We're only interested in putting the best in classrooms because our students deserve that. So every week you will have readings, videos, resources to review. You're going to have common due dates. So a lot of your due dates are going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So as you can see, just by knowing that you're going to be consistently online. So this is not something you start and forget about until you have time. We expect you to be online throughout the week. We expect you to be on emails. Reading your emails and responding is always really important. You're going to have assignments every week. You're going to have to work and collaborate with your peers. And you probably have never collaborated in the way that we're going to expect you to collaborate. If we're all adults here, you've already been through one college experience, your undergrad. And so the days of, hey guys, we have this group presentation, so I'm going to do this, you do this, and you do this, and then it'll be done. That's not true collaboration. That's just divide and conquer. So we're going to teach you how to collaborate because, as Angie noted, that is probably one of the most important things we do as special educators. Collaboration, not only with the families that we work with, but with other service providers throughout the community. We have to be able to do it and we have to be good at it. So we're going to work with you on that. You're going to have office hours. We expect to see you. Our office hours are typically Monday nights. And the reason why we do that is because we want you to feel confident as you start your weekly module. It's not fair to you or to us, to get the last minute Friday night email or the last minute Sunday night email before everything's due. We want you to be able to ask questions, to get our advice, to get some feedback so that you can get started and you can be confident that you know where you're going throughout that week. We do open up modules early so that you can see, okay, so as I'm wrapping up week 1, I can already see what's going to happen in week 2. We try to support you guys the best we can. Another new feature of our amazing program is we just started back in 2021 is our mentor and induction seminars. Again, the education profession is not one it's not an easy profession. And we need one another. We need to learn from our peers. We need to learn from those who came before us. We need to help support those who are going to come after us. And so we have developed a synchronous meeting that happens the first Thursday of every new term. And you're going to get together and you're going to meet your colleagues. You're going to meet people who are further along than you in the program. You're going to meet our graduates who are teaching now. You're going to meet special ed directors. You're going to have an opportunity to ask all the questions that the things that we don't teach you in a teacher preparation program, like the nitty gritty, the get down dirty, like really what happens in an IEP meeting, not just what the textbook says happens in the IEP meeting. We're going to have guest speakers. We're going to support you with the technology training. We're going to promise that, you've got that blended online teaching license, and we need to make sure that we take the time to really make sure you are supported with the technology. Technology is not always easy for everybody. So we're going to support you with that. Again, you're going to have peer-to-peer mentoring, tips and tricks. What do you need to know? How bad it really is Grimmet? Yeah, she's horrible. Those types of like, what should I do when I have to have a class with her? You guys can have that time to connect with one another. You'd be amazed. Your neighbor down the road may be in our program. And so just to see that you are, as a special educator, sometimes it feels like you are alone. You may be the only one in your school, or maybe there's just a few special educators in your district. Maybe you're in a rural area, maybe you're in an urban area and you still feel alone, and there's tons of teachers around you. This is a place where you can come and you can feel supported, and where you can ask questions and seek advice and seek wisdom from again, those who have come before you and your peers. And then I always host an after hours with Grimmet after our mentor and induction seminar. And again, that's just an open time for you. We are here for you. But we're also human, right? So I, as much as I am on my computer, I'm not on it 24/7. So this is just a great time for you to get to know us as faculty, as program coordinators, as course instructors in a different way. And we truly get to know you guys in a different way as well.
Thanks, Dr. Grimmet. So wanted to move on to some frequently asked questions that we deal with here in the admissions team, and thought between you and Angie, you might be able to help me out answer a couple of these. So I think the last slide pretty adequately answered if a student is required to be online at a specific time with the mentorship, and then also with the synchronous meeting component in the first week of class. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but can you expand on that, Dr. Grimmet? Is there any other additional time that a student would need to be online at a specific time, or would that be it?
Absolutely. So we do have the mentor induction seminars. That's again once every 8 weeks. It's the first Thursday of each 8-week term. We have Monday nights. We strongly encourage our students to attend Monday night office hours. It's again a great way of collaborating, of blocking out that time for you. We're all busy, right? We have families, we have jobs, we're all busy. And so sometimes just blocking off certain chunks of time so that I can intentionally meet with my colleagues, or I can intentionally meet with my course instructor is a great way to help you with establishing a routine in an online setting like this. And so we highly encourage those. And then, again, we're going to, you're going to do a lot of collaboration with peers. Those will be on times that you guys work out as a small group, or as a group of individuals. And so there will be times, but again, we try to help you structure those as much as possible.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And what would you find? So the vast majority of our students are busy professionals coming into the program. What would you advise them as a typical workload for a student? And we could do that on hour basis for the week, or if you'd like to break it up, what would you recommend to a student? What would their typical workload be?
Oh, that's a really great question. And that's kind of why I wanted to kind of give you that concept of what should I expect in this program, those due dates, those times that we need to kind of be online, whether it's synchronous or asynchronously. You know, we say it's about 15 to 20 hours per week. And when you think about that, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. And I think, you know, we've had some students say, oh, well, you know, this is an online program, it should be easy. And I think one of the biggest misnomers that a lot of students have is the easy part about this program is you can be in your pajamas. I may not see you, or, you know, Monday nights, you know, I usually have office hours at 8 o'clock. And so, you know, I usually pull my hair back and, you know, I may have a sweatshirt on, I may have changed clothes from my day. And so you're gonna kind of see me in a normal human aspect, but it's, it really is a lot of time, especially for those of us who work during the day, to come home and to put, you know, 3 hours in an evening, or, you know, 2 hours in the evening, which is why as we kind of redesign this program, we're trying to help you structure your time because it is difficult, especially if you have kids and we have a lot of students who, you know, kids are involved in sports. And so you're gone at night. Maybe you're a coach, you're gone in the evenings, but there are certain times that we want you to know, hey, we're here for you. Because again, we can't be here for you late Saturday night when you have time to work on, you know, your assignment. We may not be able to get back to you before it's due. So that's why we typically have that structure of, you know, Tuesday night, we're going to want you to respond, have your readings kind of done so that you can respond. We want to meet with you Monday night. So again, you can ask our questions, kind of take notes of, okay, am I understanding this correctly before, you know, I go and work on this during my times that I can? Do I have all the information I need? And so again, those Monday nights really are here for you. And then those checkpoints throughout the week, just to make sure you're okay before the weekend, because everybody's like, okay, I'll just do this all weekend long. Not everything's that easy. You know, there's things that you're gonna have to do throughout the week, and we want to set you up to be the most successful you can be. So I would definitely, I don't think we're lying at all when we say 15 to 20 hours. Some weeks may be lighter, some weeks may be heavier, but having as much structure as you possibly can, and blocking off that time, making those Monday nights important so that you, again, can meet with us and we can help in any way we can for the rest of your week. I think that's going to be really important.
Setting expectations can really be quite beneficial to a continuing student and a returning student. So thank you very much for that. As far as for the GRE, I know some universities have that as an expectation. We here at Purdue West Lafayette don't see that as a necessary portion of the application. Unless you have anything that you'd like to really expand upon that, Dr. Grimmet, I think that's pretty self-explanatory that we just do not require the GRE. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And we had noticed earlier in the slides, there was an answer to this as well. Will this allow me to be a licensed teacher? And through the tracks that have been provided to us, it is not only for the current educator that is already licensed and to gain additional licensure, but it's also for those students that are career changers that are potentially looking to become a licensed teacher through the initial teaching certification with that increased student teaching component.
Absolutely. So I think, and Angie kind of hit this on the head, the number one thing that I would just strongly encourage everyone to take note of is we are licensing you in the state of Indiana, first and foremost. So if you are from New York or California, because we have students all over, you are going to have your Indiana license. And the cool part about Purdue University and coming to Purdue University is that we have that reciprocity agreement with all these states. And so you will be able to take your license and apply your Indiana license, excuse me, and apply for your California state license with that. And again, it's really, really important that you know that you've communicated with your Department of Education to make sure that you understand the licensure requirements, but you are going to have a license in special education in the state of Indiana, and then you will be able to use that reciprocity agreement to then move that forward. And we have an amazing OTEL, the Office of Teacher Education and Licensure, are super helpful, and they're super knowledgeable about the different states. And they've worked with, we've graduated, I think we're rounding out around 500-ish students, and they've been able to work with all 50 states as far as what does licensure look like in that state and how can you take the Indian license and apply that there. I will say that it's really important. And if you choose Purdue, you will sign a statement of understanding that you understand what licensure options that you are applying for. Because if you are coming into the program for a master's only, that will not lead to a license. And so that's, we always want to double check, triple check, and quadruple check with our students to make sure that they are applying to the program and they are applying for the specific concentration that they want, because that's going to be really important to them. So yes, unless you're in the master's only program or master's only track or concentration, this program will allow you to be licensed.
Excellent. So it's essentially that you had just basically had taken the course on campus and moved to the state of California or moved to the state of Michigan, but you would be initially licensed in the state of Indiana. So
Correct.
Excellent. Very good. So the next question is there a classroom component? So obviously, be it that the program is offered online, I do get this question quite a bit. There is not necessary travel to West Lafayette. So you are able to stay in your home, in your residence, in your state, etc. But is there a classroom component to the student teaching, Angie? If you could just kind of go back into that just a little bit more so that some of our students might be able to understand the classroom component with the student teaching, just to kind of nail that in.
Absolutely, absolutely happy to do that. So in terms of Purdue students being in a Purdue classroom, that is all done online, whether it's the asynchronous weekly work or the synchronous meetings and seminars. I'm going to say the majority of our classes, and Dr. Grimmet can correct me if I'm wrong, there will be some type of classroom activities that our students will need to have access to students in a special education setting through their coursework in order to complete some of their assignments and activities. When it comes to practicum and student teaching, and this kind of piggybacks on the typical workload question, that workload kind of shifts. So practicum experiences, we have a variety of ways that we offer those experiences can be complete, but they will be a half day to a full day experience for anywhere from 4 to 16 weeks, depending on the configuration. But you will be in a classroom for a minimum of a full half day. Typically, most students are in a classroom for a full day. So that is something to think about as you are looking at current workloads and jobs. If you are not teaching in a special education setting, that is something that you will want to plan for. For student teaching, that experience will be a 16-week full-time in a special education classroom experience. So the clinical practice experience is very heavy classroom component in terms of our students working with K-12 students in schools.
So Dr. Grimmet, you bring up some great opportunities here. What course materials are required for this program? I know there's been some updates as of late. Can you go into some detail for that for us?
Absolutely. So again, when we redeveloped this program and started focusing on the blended online teaching licensure edition, we wanted to make sure that we were preparing students across different, obviously technology is everywhere, but we wanted to hit the two main areas. And we really have a big focus on Google and Apple. And so to do that, we do require an Apple iPad with a pen for the program. And as a result of that technology requirement, we have done a really good job of kind of paring down additional course texts and stuff like that. We do have some courses that do require a textbook, most of which we're trying to keep to an version, electronic version. One, because we want you to have access to videos and examples of an evidence-based practice, or an example of, you know, videos with students, things that are really important to your education as a teacher. So we're trying to keep the cost of those types of course materials down. We have a phenomenal Purdue libraries here that typically we have access. As a Purdue student, you have access to anything all around the world. It is amazing what we have access to and what our students have access to and the resources for. So we're really trying to use the power that we already have here on campus through our Purdue libraries. We're utilizing a few course textbooks, or making sure everybody has the Apple. And again, you're going to be Apple certified, you're going to be Google certified, and then you're going to have some free choice eventually as the program continues on, because different districts use different platforms, but we want to make sure that you are prepared across the two major ones.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that explanation. I think students are excited to apply what they're learning on a day in, day out basis. So as for admission requirements, first and foremost, to be considered for admissions, students must complete a phone interview with an admissions advisor like myself, in addition to the items above. First and foremost would be a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution with a 3.0 GPA, current resume or CV, 3 letters of recommendation, no friends or family. Obviously, supervisors are preferred. Statement of purpose. It's your reason for attending graduate school and obtaining licensure if applicable. Official transcripts from all universities attended. A special asterisk on this one, because we will actually attempt to order your transcripts for you on behalf of the student and absorb the cost of that. There are some universities that will not allow us to do so. If that is the case, myself or one of my team members will give you proper instruction on how to order those transcripts and where you need them to be sent. Finally, it's a completed application and fee for the master's option. Obviously, thank you very much for your time. We are here to help and be a resource for you. As Dr. Grimmet had mentioned, we are here to not only set you up for success, but to reduce that level of stress and to help you be the best teacher, be the best student you can be. So please, at your convenience, do not ever hesitate to reach out to us toll free at the 877 number, email, or online.purdue.edu. I want to thank you for your time in advance. And again, my name is Zach Bergling. If I can be of any service to you, please let me know.